really is. And you know, Lewis, who's chairing the budget committee, and of course again Ron, who's chaired virtually every committee on the thing at one time or another, have just been so helpful to us. So you know, to the committee members here today, I want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart. It's a tough job, and you make it much easier with your counsel and advice. So thank you. Now, a couple of slides here. Where we are, I want to say, I wish right now that I was an investor, because getting into this job at the time I did was really buying low, okay? We were not very popular, and that's only half the equation, unfortunately. The next is to grow the value of the thing and sell it high, right? So that's kind of the focus of the thing. So I'll run through a few slides that kind of show you where we were, and then a few slides to show you where we are, and then we'll get on with it. We do have significant challenges. If you look here, you'll see that the self-identification of Republican, when asked whether what party you belong to, it's been in significant decline since 2004, from 30 to 23%. Now, what you'll see, fortunately for us, is that the Democrats are starting to hit that same slide right now. But that only means that it's a race to the bottom. And now we have to show them that you know, that we have some things to offer, and that we are a safe place to land for the future of the nation. And I think we're getting you know, significantly along the way with that. This is a particularly illuminating slide, and I guess I didn't know this before I took the job. On election day 2008, on every issue, every one of the major kind of 9 issues that public polls ask over and over again, we lost on every issue on election day 2008, except one, and that was national security, and national security was a tie. You know, people did not trust the party, but that's, you know, I'm not here to apologize for it. It is what it is, and we've got the future to worry about. But keep in mind that we'll see another slide here. That was only a year ago. You know, there's a few of you can see some of the slides that really hurt us in these things, particularly Hispanics and young people. In 2004, on the congressional ballot, we lost Hispanics by 11. In 2008, we lost them by 39. In 2004, the president lost them by 9 points and won the election. And in 2008, we got our clocks cleaned and we lost them by 36. So, you know, we're kind of using this type of information to determine, you know, where to focus registration efforts and where to focus the ground game as we work on these campaigns. Just skip through some of the presidential stuff that you all are all too familiar with. You know, net losses since 2004. The one that's going to hurt us the most in our redistricting effort, I think, is the last one, which is 454 legislative seats, and we've lost 16 chambers across the states. But that being said, you know, it's bad news, but it's also the history, and that's the good news. You know, right now we're faced with a situation where only 10 years of one-party rule since '69, and you know, they don't last particularly long. And you know, history is with us on taking some of these seats back. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. That just means that, you know, that's the climate we're in, and we have an opportunity to win some of these seats back next year, November 2010, and that's what we're focused on. You can see that since the election, the Democrat affiliation has been falling. It's fallen by 6 points. We're falling as well, but they're falling significantly quicker. And one of the nice things about, you know, kind of my experience here over the last few years with Governor Kucheri is that the fight for Rhode Island is a fight for independence. And I think that's what you're going to see nationwide here next year. If we turn out our base and we do well with independence, and the slides that you'll see coming up will show you that we have the opportunity to do that, we're going to win some of these seats back. And you know, that's exactly what our focus has been on, and particularly in Virginia. Virginia has become a race for independence. It's a very, very close election right now. And there are 2 or 3 key areas of the state geographically where we are fighting for moderates and independence, and that's the way we're going to get Bob McDonnell over the top. As I said a few minutes ago, since in November of 2008, we were behind on every issue except national security, and national security was a tie. And less than a year later, we lead on virtually every issue, and not a little bit. This is the first time in decades since Republicans have been the party trusted more to handle health care. When the Democrats are at the height of their popularity, they win that issue convincingly. When we're at our lowest, they win it convincingly. And right now, the nation has decided that Republicans actually can be trusted a little bit more to handle health care for America. I personally think that that has a lot to do with spending and taxes, and people see the Democrats' policies for what they are. This has been a really quick wake-up call. America has come out of this last presidential election and realized what Democrats do when Democrats have power. They create big government programs and spend a lot of money. And people don't have a great regard for the government. And so those forces are coming together right now. And you can see, I mean, we've moved plus 18 on taxes, the economy plus 15, and healthcare. To get 44-41, we moved 16 points. I mean, people really turned. It wasn't just a shift of a couple of points here or there. It's a significant movement on these issues. So there is, I should say, there is significant movement on these issues. You can see what's happened to the president. His numbers have fallen drastically. It's among the fastest drops that we've been able to find in recent history. You know, he was 67-13 job approval back in January, and he's 52-41 as of September. And in certain states where we're fighting right now, the gap is closer than that. Folks are not thrilled with his job performance, and on specific issues, he's upside down with virtually everybody except Democrats. For instance, in healthcare, if you ask the question, should we reform healthcare if it means increasing the deficit and taxes, he barely holds a Democrat majority in that. And we know that his healthcare plan is going to mean higher taxes, Medicare cuts. It's not going to address the number one issue they sold this thing to, which was we're going to lower the cost of health care for American families. The single issue they sold this on is not going to be addressed, and Americans know that, and therefore he's not really, frankly, trusted on it, and he's taken a significant portion of his party down with him. So we have to capitalize that and you know, quite frankly, keep our foot on him and not let him up. You can see that he's if you look at strongly disapprove or strongly approve, he's upside down significantly. The folks who have a strong opinion of him are strongly against him. And by the way, we see the same thing in the elections in Virginia and in New Jersey. If you ask people on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely you are to vote, 10 being very likely, 1 being not very likely, the 8 to 10s we win by double digits, and the 6 to 8s we win by 9 or 10. So the intensity on the ballot is with us. Now that doesn't mean victory, because these races are really close. We have to turn our folks out, and we have to fight for moderates, we have to fight for the independents. But I wish we could vote tomorrow, because you know, people who want to vote, they want to go out and vote for I don't even want to use the word, but they want to go out and vote for something new. So Bob McDonald, that's Bob McDonald and Chris Christie in New Jersey. Specific issues, I can just, you know, these are, really, it'd take a half an hour to explain some of these slides, and I won't bore you with that. He's falling in a number of issues. The economy in March, he was 19 up, and now he's -2. In healthcare, he was 16 up, and now he's -9. I mean, I think that's why he's trying to go, you know, he's going to Copenhagen and every place else. He called a joint session of Congress, spoke to America about the importance of this healthcare reform package, and then has failed to bring it up again. I mean, he got no bump out of it, and, you know, quite frankly, has tried to change the subject while Congress, you know, carries the water on it. This is one of the slides that kind of illuminates, you know, where we want to try to go for the next year, which is to turn everything back to the economy. Times are tough. As I said, my family owns a small business here in Rhode Island, and they had a really tough September. And I remember one of my uncles telling me that, and I was thinking, that's really not good. You know, I mean, when you think about it, when it hits home to a business near you, to one of your businesses, or to one of your friends' businesses, or to your client base if you're in sales, I mean,